Welcome to Nerd Radio. It's another week of Nerd Radio with myself, your host Chuck Bean, along with Al Beck and James, who is not here, unfortunately.
Yes,
Nerd Radio. We will miss him. He's got some important business that does not involve playing Realm Royale. He's got some important.
Yeah, whatever it is he's playing these days.
Right.
But yeah, no, sure. he had a lot of extra stuff to do this week.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it all took precedence. And honestly, we want to stay on schedule with the Twitch stream, so we couldn't move the day or anything like that. So that's why he unfortunately was not able to join us.
So we put out a call for a replacement James.
Yes.
And Robbie from Checkpoint XP answered the call.
Challenge accepted.
Exactly.
Yes.
And he is entertaining us with the drop system that we have yet to use because they're as I said previously in a segment that you will hear later on tonight because time travel.
This episode's gonna be a little timey-wimey.
Yeah, for sure.
You are in the TARDIS.
Yes, we are in the TARDIS.
Well, that was what I was going to bring up is that the studio reminds me of the TARDIS and that there are like 5 stations, but we rarely have 5 people to run all of them.
Yeah.
So it'd be really fun if you actually saw us running around.
Yes, yeah.
While it was happening.
The quick Cliff Notes explanation is we had Jason, fellow producer from Dave and Chuck the Freak, join us because we are going to be talking Joker later in the show.
Absolutely.
And he had stuff to do as well.
Yes.
So we wanted to record that first. We did the whole segment as though it was going to be the first segment, and then decided, you know what, let's stick it at the end because it's spoiler heavy, and we want people to tune in and listen to as much of the podcast as we can before tuning out.
So we're going to try and entertain you before.
Yes, we're going to try, but yes,
of,
spoiler heavy Joker talk coming at the end of the podcast. But I, of course, interrupted before we had a chance to introduce your fiance, who is also filling in over there.
ACRONYM, Amy Cooper is also with us.
Sorry, Amy.
It's okay.
Come on, buddy.
Come on.
I'm over here entertaining people on the Twitch stream.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Thank you, because it is up in front of me, and I could be doing that, and I really am dropping the ball over here.
Yeah,
so.
well,
men aren't made to multitask.
Yeah,
it's
no.
fine.
I'm barely made to task, okay?
That's true.
Christ.
Very true. So let's talk about some of the stuff that happened this weekend that was not the Joker movie. This weekend was the New York City Comic Con.
Mm-hmm.
There were a couple of announcements from there, mostly Transformers related, so I will spare you. However,
I was just going to say, where's Jason go? I'm going to go hang out with him.
However, you remember about a month ago I was talking about they were crowdfunding a Unicron figure, the big planet-eating Transformer. They did get enough signatures.
They did.
Enough people signed up for a $650 Transformer toy.
Oh, my God.
To get that.
We just need money.
Yeah, that's
much of it.
That's essentially what it came down to. But I did not. Amy, you will be very delighted to know I did not sign up for a $650 toy.
Hey, I'm not judging.
No, you don't.
You and Tim could split it and share.
I know.
We have parental rights.
my friend Tim that is also super into Transformers. We joked about like him having it on the weekends and me having it on the weekdays or something like that.
Shared custody.
Unicron. But one of the things that they did announce at New York City Comic Con I wanted to talk about is the X-Men books, which are wrapping up the Powers of X House of X miniseries this week with Powers of X number 6, and then we'll be moving forward next week starting with X-Men number 1. They announced that part of the second wave in February is a regular Wolverine series.
Oh, so I might have to actually go and get caught up on those then.
Yeah, the Wolverine is coming back with, let me take a look. Andy Kubert is one of the artists on it, which makes me very happy.
Yeah.
I absolutely love his work. Oh, man. I got too many buttons to hit over here.
Could you pretend to try?
I got to hit cameras. I got to read stuff. Writer Benjamin Piercy and artist Vigner Bognovic, I don't know who that is, and Adam Kubert are going to be doing Wolverine.
No Andy.
No Andy, just the Atom.
Just the Atom.
The Twitch people have been watching Robbie the whole time I was
it's getting a little awkward over here, guys.
Damn it!
That's what I like is you didn't go for the wide shot.
Want to do their jobs today?
No, I really don't.
No, I never do. That's why I'm making Chuck do everything per usual.
When Chuck gets stuck on me, I just start making faces at the camera like.
That's the thing that is weirdest to me about this is unless like running this, I know which camera is on me, but when James is over here, I never know when the camera's on me.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm always
probably for you the best, then we can see your weird nose.
Oh, are you gonna bring that up? Are you really gonna bring that up? Okay. She's trying to start a fight because Robbie, of course, is the one that in the Twitch stream a couple of weeks ago said that I have a weird nose. And you know what? I don't. Look at that. Right there.
There you go. Yeah, just, believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Good nose. Look at that nose. Now look at this nose.
Coming up later on Nerd Radio, in-depth discussion on psychosis.
Right. Which nose you really like here?
Men do not like nostrils. If they knew we could shapeshift, they would tell the church.
All right. One of the other things that was happening in at New York City Comic Con is Stuart Immonen, who we last saw in Amazing Spider-Man, is coming back for one of Joe Hill's DC horror books. And that's pretty,
okay.
That's pretty important because when he finished Amazing Spider-Man with issue 800, he said that he was retiring until the right project came along, and apparently this was the right project.
Quick.
Yeah.
But Joe Hill, though, man, those Lock and Keys, I think that might be the only thing I've read from him.
Yeah.
But
it's probably his strongest work.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely excited to
now, were you telling me this was going to be a DC property, whatever he's doing?
DC is doing, they're calling it DC House of Horrors.
Okay.
And Joe Hill is essentially much in the same way that, what's the guy from My Chemical Romance, the lead singer?
Gerard Way.
Thank you, Amy. I knew she would know that. Much like Gerard Way runs the DC Young Animal imprint, which has Doom Patrol and all that stuff on it. Joe Hill, make us a bunch of horror books. So that's what he's doing.
Cool.
That's it. No.
I don't know what I don't know if I'll pick it up or not. As much as I liked Lock and Key, that might be maybe down the road I'll pick it up and trade or something. I don't feel an urgency.
Remember last week I told you guys about the Joker book that was going to be on shelves, the Year of the Villain Joker one shot. It's written by John Carpenter and Anthony Birch.
Yes, yeah. We were talking about that last week, I believe.
Yep, I got a chance to flip through it before we did the show today. It wasn't blown away. But it's definitely, like, if you were a fan of either Anthony Birch, writer of Borderlands, or John Carpenter, who's done so many great movies, it's worth checking out, for sure. So, I don't have it in front of me, otherwise I'll put it in the camera. But.
Right. But this is not one of those things. Every so often you'll bring in a book and talk about it, and you go, do you need me to pick it up for you at the store? And I go, yeah, go ahead and get that.
Right. I'm your dealer.
Yeah, you are. You're the pusher.
Right.
The comic pusher. So this one, not really any... rush.
I don't know. It's just a one shot, and it was okay.
Yeah.
But it didn't blow me away. Didn't blow me away like, reading the last Powers of X, number 6. Like every successive issue of the House of X, Powers of X things turns something about the X-Men on its ear.
Norris has been going on and on and on about that too. So I think me and Joe need to get caught up on it so we can talk about it one week on our show too.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. As a longtime X-Men fan, like the X-Men haven't been this fascinating in probably 20 years.
Have either of you had a chance to check out J.J. Abrams and Son's new take on Spider-Man?
Yeah, I dug that.
I'm excited for that.
I dug that a lot.
I haven't read it, but Chuck brought it in for a show one week, and I got to flip through it, and he gave us a little bit of the insight on it, and it looked really interesting.
Yeah,
I like J.J. Abrams.
Yeah, and I think they're doing something interesting, not just with Spider-Man, but they're doing something that I suppose actually has been done before with Batman Beyond. But the idea that you age the hero, so instead of just rebooting him or trying to do some new take on him, where's he at later in his life, and how does that affect everyone around him? And I think it's just a really, really cool concept.
I mean, sort of like Frank Miller did Batman Begins or
The Dark Knight Returns.
Dark Knight Returns. Yeah, thank you. I couldn't remember. Clearly, I've remembered a remarkable amount of things already this week. That's insane.
That's true.
More than normal.
Right.
But I kind of like that idea that was 1986 or something like that. And they're like, well, I mean, he's been around since 1939. How old would he be? Like you were kind of saying. And it's one of my favorite things about that book.
I'm gonna go in a Marvel offices or DC offices and just like pick a superhero, and it's like, okay, it's John Constantine with back pain.
Outstanding.
See, and they'll be like, we want at least 12 issues of that. I want to see that for sure.
Well, considering you said that you think Thomas and Martha Wayne were taking Bruce home from seeing Space Jam.
Look,
no,
it lines up.
No, in canon, it was Zorro.
It was, but if he was this age now and you aged him back to when he went to the theater, you know what was in theaters at the time? Motherfucking Space Jam.
I'm sorry, I thought it was garbage.
This is what I live with.
That's true.
This has been an argument multiple times, mind you, which is why I pressed that button.
Yeah, as you either said off mic or in the future in a upcoming thing, you have to be a nerd to be engaged to this
exactly.
For sure. Absolutely. Al, you were telling me over the weekend you got to try out the L.A. Noire.
I did. I got the
VR.
Yeah, because you had broke that news to me that it was now a VR thing, and so I had to download it.
Right.
You have PlayStation VR?
I do have PlayStation VR. Yeah. I don't have much on it. I've got the Batman Arkham.
There isn't much on it.
There is true. So much of it is pretty affordable too. They're very small games. They're very small games. I mean, I got all the way through the Batman VR, in a couple of hours, if that. I mean, it's very quick. But LA Noire, I didn't get through the whole thing, but I played a couple of missions, and I'm finding with the VR games, if you can move, the graphics suffer.
Oh yeah. See, and that's what I think has been holding VR back. Is what we need is bespoke VR games, not taking a great game and putting it into VR. Because I had Resident Evil 7, which I played in VR, which was fine. And of course, it was scary because it's Resident Evil. It's scary even out of VR.
Right.
But you can tell.
Yeah.
You can tell.
But now, my favorite game that I have on VR is the Bridge Crew, the Star Trek one, which Chuck and I have played. You didn't do the VR version, but
it was hilariously fun.
But visually, that one is phenomenal. But you're stationary the whole time, and even in the Batman game, you can move around the map a little bit, but there's predetermined destinations you can select from. So the graphics are better.
Have you seen any of the trailers for this Iron Man VR game that Marvel's developing?
No.
Ooh.
It's the trailer that I've seen seems like it's just very rail shooty. Like, you're set on a course and, you have to look around and shoot things out of the sky and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I've seen a few people who have actually got to try more than just what they've seen in the trailer. And I'm kind of on the hype fence because, again, VR games can so easily just kind of fall to the wayside and feel more gimmicky than anything else. But, I mean, apparently you use the and this is on Oculus. I don't think it's on the PSVR.
Okay.
I could be wrong, though. But you actually use the controls, like, depending on how you, like, put your hands and whatnot to, like, activate the thrusters and, like, fly around and stuff like that. So some of the reviews that I've seen, the early ones, are saying that it could change the VR game, or it's, like, the first true, really good VR game.
Interesting.
But something to look into.
That was in my brief experience with Oculus VR. Like, some of the best stuff is rail shooters, like, playing something along the lines of Panzer Dragoon. Though I do love that lightsaber game. Holy crap, that lightsaber game fun!
Is that the Beat Saber?
Yeah.
Hey, phrasing.
It's so fun.
Yeah, that was one of the ones my nephew wanted to get. I got him. I can't remember what the hell it was called. I don't know. I got him another one of the kind of big ones right now. Where it's,
There was another one. I know I told you about it when I got to play the Oculus Rift, but it was like a robot shooter.
Yeah.
Like you were gunning down robots the whole time, and that was really fun.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think VR is getting close. I mean, that's what I'll say about my experience with it. I'm very happy. Like, I don't think I wasted my money. Our boss, our program director, actually just recently got a PlayStation, was kicking around the idea of getting a PSVR, and I was like, dude, it's not that much money. I mean, it's not like it's nothing, but it's not that bad.
A lot of money to some people.
Well,
if they can find a way to shave another 100, 150 off of it so it's more affordable, then I think more developers will look at it as a worthwhile investment going forward and start to develop a little bit more. When you have your AAA publishers, looking into developing for it, Rockstar, Bethesda, even EA, that's when I think we'll start to get some truly, like, game-changing software for it.
Yeah. Well, I do mean, though, like, Chuck, back to that other point, that compared to what I would expect it to have costed, it's more reasonable than I was expecting when I hadn't got it. But I think it's worth it. And like, the LA Noire, it was cool. Like I said, the graphic, you get to drive a car, though, and like, you got to grab the steering wheel, and that was a little crazy.
Yeah.
but
do you have to do it? Do you have to do it like that huge pantomime steering wheel?
It does look a little bit like that.
Like you're driving a ship at sea.
We have talked about VR enough on this show, and I don't know. You haven't played the PlayStation VR. I may have to bring the stuff in and let you take it.
Let me
take it for
play
a couple
around
weeks,
with it
because I don't play very often at all. if LA Noire wasn't set in the 1940s when I was 16,
right? Well, that was my question about
young again.
That was my question about LA Noire. Does it take stuff that you've already played from the original LA Noire game and just stick it in VR, or is it new story content?
Let's see. I think it's very similar to the game. It was just sort of case files from that. Like, there's one in particular where there's a bank robbery. And, and you've got to get in there, and that was actually where I stopped playing it, because you've got a shotgun, and you got to pump it.
Right.
And trying to aim it. And I was just like, okay, what I had going on, I was like, I don't have time to learn how to play this right now. So I set it down, but I had to at least play a little bit so I could talk about it on the show. But yeah, that was a recycled mission from.
That was the thing about that robot shooter that I found really freaking cool, is that you would use pistols. You would have like 2 pistols, like John Woo style, and you would just drop them, and then you would move your hands down to your sides to pick up 2 more pistols, which was cool. And then eventually you get a shotgun, which was supposed to be on your back, so you would have to reach back to get a new one. You'd fire it and then drop it and reach back to get a new one. That's how the reload feature worked in it.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
And this one you had to actually like shove shells
into the shotgun.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. So it was involved, and like I said, I didn't have time to master it. I'll just have my nephew play it for 3 minutes, and he'll master it.
Right, for sure. Well, let's take a small break.
Settle down, old man.
I should just play that on a loop.
Yeah, right. Let's take a short break. I got a couple of video game stories to get to as well. The Magic the Gathering Arena tournament was this past weekend. The tournament I told you and James about, where you could win one of just about any card or every card. And we'll talk about it next, because I did try it out. How many games do you think I won?
I'm gonna say none.
None. We'll find out if you're right.
Okay.
Coming up next.
You won nothing.